about the MoSCoW. It's a very, very important and prioritization tool, which is used pretty much all over the world. It's not just for technology, but also for business. A lot of people use it for making some choices in their work, whether it is not technology or not. So what does this really mean, MoSCoW? So the first MO stands for must have. So it's mandatory. It's a fundamental requirement that must be delivered. It's the minimum viable product, MVP as what we call. Without this, the product is not going to go out of the door of this business. So that's the minimum usable subset. Without these 3, 4, 10, 15 features, you cannot deliver the product to the market, right? It's like, it's useless. If you don't have them, it's going to be useless, and it's not meeting the requirements. It's a very, very important, very, very mandatory set of features and functionality. And then this is what is important. Again, time box. We talked about time boxing in Agile, right? It could be a time box of 3 weeks. It could be time box if a smaller project, 2 weeks. Big ones could be 4 weeks. So roughly between the 2 to 4 weeks of sprint is what is a time box. Within this period, you need to deliver something. And then once you deliver it, you then on the top of it, you add another sprint, and then you make it shippable and you deliver it. So in the context of, for example, our e-commerce website for the mobile accessories, we can potentially deliver the first item details, capturing the item details in the form and showing that using a CMS. We can deliver that in the first sprint starting tomorrow. After 3 weeks, we can deliver that, but it's still not ready. So at the end of 3 weeks, we again start another sprint, the next sprint, sprint 2, going for another 3 weeks, within which time we can actually integrate these pages. We can connect to the database. We can make sure that it's all going from the back end to the front end, all the way the flow. And then we can deliver it as one big release at the end of November. Yeah, so that takes about 3, 4 sprints, maximum 3 sprints from now to end of November. So that's what is called must have. Very, very important and very mandatory set of tools. The most guaranteed set of features that must go in is the minimum viable product, MVP. And then the S stands for the should have. So that's the next set of features in terms of prioritization. They're important, but they're not really that fundamental. They're not the foundational aspects of the must haves. So the should haves could be, it's like a need to have, but then I can still live without that. You can still send the product without having the should have kind of features. So without them, still you can deliver. You can still deliver. You can still make it usable. So for example, I was telling the aspect of, you can still make the product, the e-commerce website of the selling mobile accessories could be still gone live and doing well by April time, with all the things, having a catalog, having a shopping cart, and then the payment engine and the payment gateway integrated into the payment processing service provider like WorldPay. All is this is done. But then at that point of time, you say that I should have at least the option to pay by credit card or debit card. So that's your must have, one option for you to pay. The should have could be, for example, option to use PayPal, third party option, payment processing like PayPal integration could be a should have. Because the must have says credit card, that's, you're already saying that that is like the minimum viable product. So by April 2021, this website should go live with the cart, with the catalog and the payment gateway through PayPal, for instance, or credit card as one of the, without that, it's not going to go live. But once that is there, then you can say, you know what, I can still add, PayPal integration, or I can still add MasterCard, accepting MasterCard as another provider, right? So that's a should have. You can still go live, but it can wait. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient. That's what we talk about, right? So, and then in the context of could have, so that's where these are negotiable. It's like, you know what, I think I should also add a check. I should be able to, customers should be able to pay by sending checks to me. Fair enough, that's a could have. So because we already have the credit card, debit card acceptance through Visa, for instance, as a must have, MasterCard is should have, and could have is like, yeah, check. If we can get it done by April 2021, fair enough. Otherwise, don't bother. It's okay. You still can deliver that product, right? You still can go live with the e-commerce website. So these are like nice to haves. check processing, is it really that great in this time and age? May not be, but still, if you're a business or if you're some enterprise or small business, you still want to send some transactions to the gyro or checkbook or whatever, then yeah, do that. But then that's a nice to have. I still can have the payment done through an alternative means already. So it's a nice to have. It's offering a minimum, but it's not really great value offer. It's not something which all the customers use. Perhaps it's done by about 20% of the customers. Whereas the rest 80% of the customers use, let's say, credit card. You did that study and you found that credit card is the most viable, most important means of payment for most of the customers. So you said, okay, that's a mandatory must have. And check is like hardly 5% of the customers use. So you do that, but still it is a could have. So you can still go live by April 2021 without having to have the check payment. That's okay. You can do it later. It's important, but it's not urgent. So that's another thing that way of looking at it. Whereas this must have is both important and urgent. Will not have is not important. It's not urgent. It's not value adding requirement at all. So it's not required enough. It's not at all required maybe in the next 2 months, 3 months. So that's where it is. It actually is something like making a payment through a postal order or even a post office document or something. I don't know if anybody is still using that, but then you can give that, paying through money order or postal order. Fair enough, you can do that. But then is it really important now? No. Is it urgent? No. Yeah, check it there. So we will not have it in this release by April 2021. So that's why no wonder it actually is at the bottom of the pile in terms of the prioritization, the backlog. It's not important, not urgent. So in the context of e-commerce website that we have been developing, we'll say that the acceptance of payment through Visa, that's definitely an important thing and urgent thing, must be done by April. MasterCard, yeah, it's good to have. Some customers still use MasterCards. So yes, I'll have that, but I can wait. It's not like negotiable, it's definitely there. It is up there in the important things, but not as urgent as the Visa. In terms of check processing, maybe businesses could use it, but we have B2B customers, hardly 10% of our customers are B2B. So it's important, but it's not urgent. The value that we're getting out of that check processing feature is not so much. So I would have that at the bottom of the list. And you know what? The postal order, whatever, paying through the post office document stuff, no way. I think it's not at all required. It's not important, not urgent. So I'll push it down the list. Perhaps it can come after December 2021 if required, or we can chuck it out. It's not even required, in the context of our e-commerce websites online. So that's how you should try and look at the MoSCoW prioritization in that context.